Hi everyone, welcome back to the Stay Hungry podcast. It's Joel and Andy, and today we're talking about starting the conversation with ads. We're back again.
I know.
Do you know what I did last night?
Stayed in and finished Reacher.
Bang on.
Really?
Yeah.
Not as good as the first season.
No, it was all a bit too convenient in the end.
Wrapped up very easily, but they've already started filming season 3.
On that note, have you seen The Equalizer 3?
No, saving that for Holder.
Oh,
Because we've done 1 and 2.
okay.
Got good reviews, the third one.
It's a good film, but convenience is the
Oh,
worst.
okay. Yeah, so when we go to Wales, to our little holiday place there, it's for 3 nights. So last time we went, we did the Fallen series, was it
Olympus
London,
Angel.
then Angel.
Yeah.
Awesome. Nick Nolte in the third one, brilliant. So when we go next month, we're either going to do the Taken trilogy or the Equalizer trilogy. The kids haven't seen any of those films.
Really?
Yeah.
They've not seen the Taken films?
No. So we've done all 3, and we've done the first 2 Equalizers, but not the third.
So
one.
the first Taken and the first Equalizer are both brilliant, I think.
Second Equalizer's really good. No,
Not as good.
not as good. Second Taken.
Taken.
Does she get taken or? Yes, she
Yeah.
gets kidnapped, doesn't she? In Istanbul.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, awesome stuff. I just wonder if they've aged now. I wonder what the kids will think.
Oh, the films or,
Yeah.
or the actors?
Liam Neeson's certainly aged. Yeah, I wonder if the kids will like that because they love the Fallen things. They thought
Yeah.
was really
That I think it's the last one. The drone scene at the
yeah,
beginning.
yeah.
Bloody hell, that's terrifying.
How the fuck did we get onto this? Supposed to be talking about ads.
You're starting the conversation, aren't we?
Oh, nice segue. Yeah, Reacher. Yeah, it's like looking in a mirror. It's one of those fairground mirrors.
Doesn't even look human, does he? It's ridiculous.
But he is only 6'2". He wears lifts.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's little consolation to me. But yeah.
So you're saying on the same height as Reacher? I'll take that.
Yeah. He's, again, separated at birth.
Yeah.
Right,
No.
conversations. Oh, fucking hell, do you mean cold calling, Joel? I don't want to speak to anyone.
No, so a little known thing about ads now, particularly on the Meta platform, is you can drive people straight into conversation. So you could have it that you run an ad that says, DM me the word trailer for access to an exclusive trailer. DM me the word training for access to an exclusive video.
Jack Reacher's workout.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll have that.
And this is kind of the segue I was going to make, is that the more conversational you can make it at ad level, the more chance of having a good interaction in the DMs is. So it could be if you're, let's say you're a fitness coach for men over 30, sick of looking in the mirror and wishing you looked like Reacher, blah, 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 blah. Download my free
Don't know what you mean.
Download my free Jack Reacher training guide. Simply DM me the word I could kick Reacher's ass, and like blah blah blah. But what you'll find is that the DMs that come in off the back of that are far more primed to a casual, non-cold callery conversation.
Because obviously in the past, I'm trying to think. I mean, maybe we've still got a few clients we're running ads for now, where the call to action is, say, an initial strategy call, a discovery call, a clarity call, whatever you want to call them. But actually on the phone, and sometimes in the past those ads have worked really well, and now they can work well, but it's definitely veering more towards, regardless of industry, people want to DM first. They don't want to speak on the phone. So interesting. I was reading a newspaper article, and it was like telephone etiquette.
Yeah.
And I said to Emma, I said, oh look, it says here by
Sup,
this,
Andy? Right, code break. What do you want?
and by this etiquette expert, it said that even if you're going to speak to a friend, text them first and say, is it okay if I call you at 2 o'clock?
Oh, it's mad, isn't it?
And well, Emma was like, what a load of bollocks. Anyway, right, her brother texted her yesterday saying, can I call you this afternoon? Need to talk about mother. I said, see, I told you that's etiquette. So if that's what's happening on a personal level, cold from a business you've never spoken to before, it's getting harder and harder to make that first call to action.
Yeah.
Phone me.
I would say, for me personally, when my phone rings, my default position is this is probably an emergency, and no one likes to feel like that.
Yeah, if my mum calls now, it's like, shit, what's wrong?
Yeah, something's wrong, or this is a sales call. And
Because, of course, now it might look like a local number and you think, oh, 01743, that's Shrewsbury, who's that? And, of course, it's just
yeah,
someone in Delhi who's bought a load of 01743 numbers.
yeah, good one.
Other cities are available.
Yeah. But it's that getting past that point of awkwardness. Now, there's plenty of, for most businesses, there's plenty of people out there that will want your services, but you've got to get into the conversation with them to allow you to express the value that you offer. And very often now, a non-preempted phone call is not going to do it.
There'll
Like
be lots of old school salespeople not liking this pod.
oh yeah, screaming at it. But I'm not saying like I've cold called people or I've picked up the phone to follow up on people. But I try now to build something into everything we do that at least means that they'll expect it. Because if I decide tomorrow, right, I want to bring on 10 florists into Codebreak, I'm going to go into whatever the equivalent of the Yellow Pages is now.
Yellow Pages, yeah.
Google. I'm going to go to Google.
Yale.com,
Imagine
is that
that.
still going?
Yeah, probably. And type in florists in Shropshire, and I'm going to ring the first 10. It might work. Out of that 10, I might get 1 or 2. It might work. But if I run an ad that says your guide to selling more flowers, for want of a better campaign, sick and tired of people only coming in and buying a single rose when you know that you're primed for beautiful bouquets, DM me the word flowers and I'll bang you our latest training on how to up the sales in the flower game. The people that come to those messages are going to have far more intent. It's going to be a far easier conversation. They'll be like, oh, I've DM'd you the word flowers, and you go back and say, oh, I'm just grabbing you the training. Just out of curiosity, what is it about the flower game that you want to improve at the moment? And it's just easier, it's gentler, and yeah.
I guess, yeah. For some businesses, or maybe your business, it will always be checks and balances. So that method, I know, will work the best. But there will be some old school salespeople who say, well, I could call those 10 florists and let's say 3 of them pick up. So that's work in an hour and I will get 1 sale. Okay, you might do. But I've had sales jobs in the past where I've done 100 dials, 120 dials in a day and not got a single sale.
Yeah.
So there are never any guarantees. And sometimes, sometimes picking up the phone is, we know there have been instances here, say with our IT supplier, don't fucking DM or email if it's an emergency. Pick up the phone and fucking call them.
Yeah.
And so the telephone isn't dead, but it certainly is dying. And what we're saying is more and more conversations are starting online, and ads are a cost-effective, a time-effective way of doing it.
Yeah, and exactly that. Like the beauty of messenger ads now. So you can drive messengers to your DMs, you can drive messages to your WhatsApp, and soon you'll be able to drive them to other places. I'm sure it's going to blow up, and live chat and all this stuff. But you'll very quickly ascertain how much it costs you to get an inbound message. So let's say it costs you £2 to get an inbound message. Right, I know for every 10 messages I get, I end up in a sales conversation. So it costs me £20 to have a sales conversation. And I know for every 2 sales conversations I have, I make a sale. So it costs me £40 to make a sale. And a sale is worth £400 to me. So I 10x my spend. It's very easy to scale from that logic. If you are, for want of a better phrase, opening the Yellow Pages and just going through every florist in the list, ringing up, one day you could make £1,200 worth of sales. But like you said, the following day, give me my stomach over the mic.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Need to eat more. Said no one ever. Yeah, that you could end up with no sales. There's no predictability to it. So you get to that place where you start to stack the maths, and then the beauty of that for a small business is you can decide how quick you want to grow. Once you've spent enough that the maths, the data stacks, you can say, right, okay, well, it cost me 40 quid a sale. I've ascertained that now after spending £1,000 on ads. what would happen if I spent £10,000? And then, right, we've done that. That went well. Let's try 15,000. Okay, 20,000. And there will come a point where you plateau, and maybe cost per sale starts to creep. But it's scalable. It's predictable. And cold calling, mail shots, knocking on doors can be effective, but it can also be dramatically ineffective.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, for most businesses, this will involve that little thing called effort. Because a lot of people, they just want to send a blanket SMS campaign. They want to send a blanket email campaign. This is one individual in your company replying to an individual florist. Now, obviously, there is stuff you can automate with bots and shit, but I'm talking about real conversations. Businesses at scale might not go for that. They might want to use some kind of software that integrates with WhatsApp and just it's bots having the conversation. But we're talking about if someone's never run messaging ads, it's putting in that effort for you or someone in your team to have a real conversation with someone over the DMs, and maybe you can sell them over the DMs depending on your price point. We've done that. Or it could be a case of, hey, listen, this is going really well. We should talk. You know, I can do 2 o'clock tomorrow or 5 o'clock on Thursday. Which one do you want? And then you take it onto the phone or arrange a meeting, whatever it might be. But let's be under no illusion. For some people, they're like, well, I don't really want to be spending Sunday evening DMing people. So I had this conversation a couple of months ago with someone, and they were like, oh God, yeah, but Sunday evening, I was just DMing, replying to all these DMs, and I don't want to be spending 2 hours of my Sunday evening like handling DMs. I said, well, what was the outcome? Well, I made 1,700 quid. And everyone else in the room was like, you made 1,700 quid in 2 hours? Is that what you're fucking saying? Get over yourself. But some people, they don't want to be doing that. Well, find someone to do it. If that's not in your team, outsource it. There'll be salespeople out there who can DM for you as long as they know your company or you train them properly. But someone should do that and put in that effort and see how it works for you, because you might be surprised.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's that understanding that most particularly in the B2C space, but most consumers now, when they want something, they want it, and when they don't want it, they don't want it. And it's like that they're used to Amazon. They're used to like, oh, I'll go on there and I'll buy it and it'll be with me in the morning, or now it'll be with me in an hour. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, I've just been to America and Amazon comes within the hour.
Shit.
And you're like, what? And I watched a thing of this guy in Dubai, and he ordered a PS5 and a pizza, and the PS5 came first.
Shit, no way.
And you're like,
wow.
The world people have got used to instant gratification. So if someone drops you a DM and you haven't got the strategy in place to at least auto respond and let them know that come 9 o'clock on Monday, one of the team will be in touch, you're going to lose them, because they're so used to an instant. Like today, I had to go on a live chat for something today that wasn't working, and I got the auto response. Typical response time is 6 hours. And I'm like, well, at least I've got an auto response. But 6 hours feels like a long time to me.
That's a long time. That's a long time. It's amazing. Like, we talk a lot, hopefully not too much, about money being left on the table. So we talk about, right, we're here to generate leads, but what's your process for handling those leads? Because leads ain't going to wait around forever. If someone's like, oh, I'm quite interested in what you have to offer. Oh yeah, I'm going to get onto that next week. That's an attitude that obviously is going to lose your business. So absolutely, don't jump onto messaging ads because they might be trendy if you're not prepared to follow up efficiently.
Yeah, and like we've talked about this before, and people call it various things, but what's the next logical step as well? So someone comes into your DMs, what is your plan for that person? So you have to be okay that they literally do just want the free thing. It sounds like thunder and lightning. You have to be okay that they literally do just want the free thing. You have to be okay that they might not even want that and they're just pissing about. And you also have to be in a position to nurture them through the process that you intended to take them through. So, let's say, in our case, they've asked for a guide on Facebook, and whilst we're sorting the link, we just message saying, oh, what challenges are you having with Facebook at the moment? And they come back and say, well, I've been doing Facebook for 2 years and I haven't got a single customer to show for it. Right, okay. Talk me through the things you've tried. Well, I've posted a reel every day for the last 3 months. I did content every other day. I've tried to do no like trust, blah 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 blah. Right, okay. Would you be interested in a free audit of your socials? Oh, I didn't know you could do that. Yeah, all it takes is we'll hop on a Zoom together and we'll go through your feed for the last couple of months together, and I'll give you some feedback. Obviously, still going to send you the link to the guide, but it could be that either I can impart some knowledge on you that will be really helpful. You might think, yep, great, I'll take that away, or you might decide that you want us to do it for you. And at which point, if you decide that you want us to do it for you, I can take you through our packages, but there's no obligation. All right, that's brilliant. Yeah, where do I book? And you've got to have that idea of where you want people. If you haven't got the compass and you don't know where north is, you ain't going to get them there. And so many people go into a sales environment, be it a cold call, a DM, a face-to-face, and they act like they're ashamed to offer their wares. And I'm not saying you need to be a used car salesperson. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Or a market trader, or what, like a Dell boy, whatever you want. What I'm saying is, you need to sort of back yourself. And a lot of people, like, when it comes to the crunch, they're a little bit too nervous to get it over the line.
Yeah, got to ask for the sale. That is probably the biggest reason why most sales aren't completed, because you don't ask for it. You say something like, well, I can send you some information in the post, or I'll send it on an email, and pop it on an email, and all that kind of crap. It's like, so I was talking to Callum the other day, a client of ours, and he was talking to a potential new customer. And at the end, the guy said, oh, well, if you can send me some information. And Callum's like, what information? Everything you need. We talked about it. You tell me what information you're missing, what I haven't covered, and I'll share it with you now. And that might suit some people, might not suit others, but Callum did the right thing. We speak from long experience that
He'd got caught in the chase.
Yeah, when people say, oh, send me information, it's like, what? Send me information, basically send you a summary of what we've talked about on the phone for you to maybe think about and talk about it with your wife's sister's best friend dog. That sale will go cold within an hour.
Yeah, I've had one today. So she listens to the podcast. She won't mind me saying. I don't think she will. Shouldn't assume. But it was an onboarding call for something she'd bought from us. So there was no assumption on my side that it could transition to sale, but I have to be open to the possibility. And went through the onboarding, asked some powerful questions around what's going on in the business, what has worked, what hasn't worked, why are we having this conversation, what do you want these tools for. Really good chat, and made it very clear that they were open to the possibility that we could work together in the future. I didn't think it was the right time to try and close a sale, because they were doing some things in the background that I felt they needed to get the result from first before trying something else. And so I just positioned the fees and just said, well, this, if you want to work with us on a done for you ad service, it starts at £1,000 a month, and then whatever budget you want to spend on top of that. Obviously, I can advise you on what I think you should spend based on the outcome that you want, but we'd get into that down the line. How does that sound? Oh yeah, that sounds great. So then I got permission, and so it's like, right, given the things you're doing already, when's the best time for us to next speak? Got the date in the diary, got the call booked in. Now, they know that the next time we call, I'm going to be much more in sales mode than I was on this call. Now, not to say that I'm going to go for the hard sell, because that's not how we operate, but I am going to present the offer.
Yeah. It's not unsolicited.
Yeah.
That's so important. And maybe, I'd like to think most people know how to speak on DMs now, but it's similar rules to when you're just speaking on the phone, when you're speaking to someone. It's asking questions, what you can do to, not like, say, leaping in trying to pitch. I had one this morning or yesterday morning, when I asked a question on DMs, he was like, no, just a guidebook, please. So that's fine. You've got to be ethical and say, yeah, here's a link. Not try and say, well, actually, no, but before I send you the guide, no, you've promised the guidebook on the ad, fucking deliver it. So do what you say.
Oh, that does my head in. If there's 5 questions before you can get to the bloody thing, that's immoral.
Yeah, because all you will do is get people's back up.
Yeah.
And they'll never buy for you again.
So that's an interesting one that might be worth discussing, is if you're driving a volume of people into the DMs, you know, a lot of people will then use various tools to try and manage those conversations. A real skill is to act like you don't need the sale, that you're valuable and that you'd love to work with them, but you don't need it. And I think a lot of people like come across as quite thirsty in the DMs and on calls, and the mistake they make.
Desperate.
Yeah, that whole like, just like fucking hell, I'll buy it off you as long as you go away, sort of thing. And I think there's a real skill in managing your own energy in that environment. You know, don't get me wrong, we've worked with businesses that are desperate and people dropping into their DMs and they really, really do want the sale. But as soon as you give that away, you either put people off or they know that they've got the upper hand. And it's sort of remembering that you in business, you're always in a negotiation. It might be a friendly negotiation, but that the moment that you play your hand, you're exposed. And you know, I see a lot of people try tactics like where they put an offer out, and I see it on their socials, and then a week later they put an offer out, and I'm like, that's the same offer. You've just
only 5 spaces remaining.
Yeah, you just
it's 5, isn't
you've
it?
just discounted it more.
Choose another number, guys.
And I'm like, can't you see that like energy is all over the shop? That actually the offer's great, but the urgency behind it, I can pick it apart, and if I can pick it apart, other people can. And again, like people get into the DMs and they're like, oh, thanks very much, please can I have the guide? And you go, well, before I get you the guide, I'd just like to show you our full suite of options. Like, oh, fuck off. Like,
yeah, it's almost like new connection territory on LinkedIn. Yeah, pretty much you know now that, I don't know, nothing against mortgage brokers. Let's say a mortgage broker you don't know.
It always is a mortgage broker.
Pretty much. Sends you a connection request on LinkedIn. You know as soon as you accept it, you're going to get that kind of bad message back. Say, no qualification, no conversation, no questions. Just basically, if ever you're looking for a mortgage, I've been doing mortgages. It's like,
I help business owners who would normally struggle to get a mortgage. It's like, well, if you checked, I've already got one.
It's like a lot of the cold emails I'm getting now are basically the templated ones where the word code break is just slipped in. Like, I saw code break on LinkedIn and noticed that you are a marketing agency. Would you be interested in this?
I love the ones like, I get this one quite often in email. The whole like, I noticed you're the alumni of Ludlow College, and it's like, how was your time at Ludlow College? And I'm like, it's almost like, you know, when you used to have to book a cinema ticket and speak to the robot.
Oh, bloody hell.
It feels like I'm reading that. Would you like to watch Equalizer 3? No. Equalizer 3, 2 tickets today? No.
Yeah, I mean, people are getting wiser. Obviously, there are some very, very clever emails out there now, some very clever DM software. But we're talking about real, genuine conversations, especially if you've never run messaging ads before, and seeing how it works for you. You may be the kind of person who's like, fucking hell, no, I don't want to spend all evening answering DMs. Or you might be the person who's like, yes, I'll happily spend all evening answering DMs if it makes me 1,700 quid.
That sprung a memory for me, by the way. I did listen to everything you just said, but...
Were you active listening?
A little bit.
Okay.
So, I used to work in a supermarket when I was college years, and normally on a Friday night we'd all decide after shift to go to the cinema in Shrewsbury, which was an adventure for us at the time. And it was always like the one guy who's got a car, we'd all pile in. But I had to run from the shop home to get on the landline to ring the talking robot to book the tickets. And by the time I got that done, they'd pick me up and then we'd go to the cinema. And that's only 20 years ago.
Blimey. Can you imagine having to speak to someone, even an automated, to book a cinema? So now just go online, choose your seats, pre-order your food, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like...
It's mad, isn't it? Only 20 years ago, the only way to get a cinema ticket was to show up and hope there was a seat left, or speak to the talkie robot.
Maybe this is why so many people are bad on the phones now. They've just forgotten how to talk to people who aren't their mates.
Yeah.
Which means, despite everything we've said, being able to speak on the phone is still a great skill. But unsolicited phone calls, come on, this isn't the 80s.
Oh, yeah. And like, if you want some like top tips for turning these messenger ads into fire, I'd say to get ahead of everyone else, because what other people are going to do is they're going to use apps and automations to field the initial inquiry. If you're not a mass volume business, if it's relatively low volume, send a voice note back. It'll bowl people over. That it's like, oh, thank you so much for requesting our guide. I'm just grabbing you the link now, but I'm just interested to know what is it that you've been struggling with. If you send that as a voice note, people are like, bloody hell. A video note even better. But there's
2024 is going to be the year where that kind of individualized approach does make a bit of a resurgence, I think.
I think so, because the automations are so clever now that people are like unsure if they're talking to a human.
Yeah.
So the more, we'll get to the stage where video notes will be automated and it'll be AI, but just giving people that, the more reassurance you can give someone, the higher chance there is that they buy from you down the line.
I'm trying to picture a world with a deep fake Joel.
I'm not real now. This isn't me.
It's just an avatar. You know.
Yeah.
So what do people do if they want to know more about starting off conversation with messaging ads?
So hop onto cobreak.co.uk. You'll see our done for you section on there. It'll talk you through exactly what we can do with ads. But best thing you can do is book a discovery call with one of the team. We can talk you through exactly what we can do, how we can help. Like I said before, completely transparent. Working with us starts at £1,000 a month, and we can really do some damage for you on the ads.
Nice one.